this video. This video is completely about the DualSense wireless edge. I forget the exact one. I still got the box right there. The DualSense Edge wireless controller from PlayStation. That controller that I'm using, and the one I got came with a case that came with multiple paddles, but that's just cool on my front because I can have more casual gaming and then more competitive gaming with the two different paddles of gaming. But it's pretty cool. This video is going to be maximum nerd. If you can deal with maximum nerd, please stay because this is the future of gaming. And I do want to clarify this right off the bat. This controller is actually good in so many different ways. Primarily, it is not broken. There is no jitterbug. There is no random things that aren't needed. Everything on this makes sense, can be used, and is actually really, really enjoyable. I have not yet had to change out the controllers or the joysticks because that is the biggest thing why I wanted to buy it personally. I did not know about everything else I'm going to be covering. I knew there was some cool things here and there, but and I'm sorry about how I'm talking. I am not that good at speaking, but I am a nerd, so it's frustrating to me. Sorry. High functioning autistic, just to clarify. Um, the controller itself is very, 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 very handy because you can tactically reload the joysticks. That alone is just fucking funny and genuinely enjoyable on my nerdness and just overall use, comparability, and just general things of what it can do. And the best part about the joystick tactical reloading is that it's cheap. That is the best part about it. And that's my typical nerd. I am a Titan, so I like my things to work. Like I want one jacket for every weather, not three different jackets for different outfits. Even like I have a basic color scheme I go with, so I don't have to worry about shit. Some things do vary, but overall it's darker colors, so I can just mix and match without any problem, different things like that. Just simple to the point. Um, this controller has maximum that. Now, the next bit you're going to see is not on Destiny, and I am going to be covering different games. Primarily off the top of my dome, I'm working through this as I'm working through this, but you're going to see Destiny 2 most definitely. A very good match that I did feeling this out because I'm still learning this controller. I've only had this for like 24 hours around there. I don't fully know, but around there. And everything that you're going to be seeing is one flowing build, which is what I love about Destiny 2 and why I really think Destiny 2 is just an amazing game because everything here matters. If you want to read it, you can. If not, I'm just going to scroll through it. But everything here matters, and you can use everything here because of things you're going to see later in cool ways. Things like this allows me to have good movement because everything there I'm not using. I'm not using it to actually attack. It gives me instant that direction, and I can actually swerve in the air. So I can just get guaranteed where I want to go in that burst if I know how to use it and when to use it. That general thing. I can use it to punch, and I do use it to punch, but that's not what I typically use it for. This is just basically a pocket that, where that is basically a super. That's why I have that. It gives me good practice, good feeling it out. So when I do have that, and I will have that when I can go with this build, like a fourth ability, this shit is fun. Um, so you have that flow. If you do want to use this, I think this build is like perfected. You can change it for your personal playstyle, but everything here, even to two autos, I'm covering all of this because okay, the DualSense Edge wireless controller allows you to have maximum precision, maximum control, but you do have to jank your controls a little bit, which in of itself is balanced. If you could have the paddles as two buttons, so you're going to see later the specifics about the controller. I'm just trying to make it good right now with pretty colors and understanding. Still nerd, but and I say nerd as smart person because you have to be smart to be a nerd. It's like geek still requires intelligence, but you're just like a little bit more sweaty. You smell a little bit worse. You're more of a people person. You'll drink like a beer every now and then, but that's about it. Where I personally am a nerd, beer tastes like cardboard. I would personally prefer a vodka. But and that is genuine. I genuinely like vodka. Whiskey is not my taste either. A good and some vodka, Smirnov Orange, I believe, is my personal favorite vodka thus far. But there is a lot of like more expensive vodkas that I can enjoy. Just good, smooth taste is what I want. Um, all of these are for very these aren't really for what they can do, but they can come in handy. Like this technically can come in handy. This technically can come in handy because knockout counts as one. So if I can get a freeze off, have knockout ready, I can like one shot a super basically. Technically, I think. But that is a super niche thing. The more or less niche thing would be this, because then I could have the freeze again, or technically punch them with that to slow them, and then do knockout. But I'm not going for knockout. I do want to clarify this knockout is just a bonus and is better than anything else for what I'm wanting to do. Bonus for what it is, but mostly all of these are for the stat increases. The stat increases alone can do some very good benefits. This is actually fine tuned, and this is actually the best for what it is, including the origin trait. That little bump of health, and I do want to play Marvel Rivals a little bit later because I do want to show off how. Okay, in Marvel Rivals, there are some characters that I'm going to show off in the video that people don't fully understand why they're potent, why some characters that people think are overpowered. Now I'm going to cover some characters that people have always thought are overpowered, like for example Hela, Hawkeye, different things like that. Like they're not overpowered, people just typically don't play around them. um, Sorry about that. In Destiny 2, in PvE, there is higher in PvE, and higher in PvEs, unless you are fucking phenomenal at it and know how to make the perfect build with perfect teammates, relatively speaking, you won't be able to breeze through it because the enemies are able to sneeze in your general direction. Or, like, I like thinking, okay, when it comes to high priority targets, I always picture the fucking chicken, the wyvern. I call it the fucking chicken. I can never say just the chicken because when there is the chicken can see you and will come for you and delete you. The chicken is not to be fucked with. Or it is to be fucked with. Fucking kill it. But it is a high priority target. If you understand, it is. I think it's the wyvern. It is the one with, best way to describe it, digital tentacles coming out of basically feather racks on its torso with two big tree trunk legs. Where the reason why it's a kill on sight, I do want to clarify this, and some enemies and Marvel Rivals kind of fall underneath this, and I will clarify it and show some characters that are just very good, some synergies that are just very good. This is maximum nerd, maximum nerding out, and I'm going to have the Marvel Rivals maybe a lot longer than Destiny 2, but because I'm actually going to cover synergies that I would love to do if I had a full stack. And some of them are not actually, all of them have two supports minimum. Some of them have three, but most of them will have like a tank, possibly two, but I'm going to show off one that has only DPS with two supports. Possibly three supports. I have not figured that out yet, but I will completely fine tune it and make sure it's right. And then, like, technically, okay, that sounds weird, and I do want to clarify this. It sounds weird, but how the tanks work and how the DPSs work and how the supports work, they are all fine-tuned, synergistic masterpieces. You don't actually need a tank. Technically, you don't technically need a DPS, but you're doing a lot less consistent damage with you can't kill me consistently while still doing your thing. The DPS is meant to get in there, fuck shit up, get out. Get in there, fuck shit up, get out. Or like Punisher, Hela, Hawkeye, they are Punisher less so, Hela less so, Hawkeye primarily. He is the higher priority target. He is the fucking chicken. You see him, you kill him, or you don't. You make sure he can't kill you. You have to keep an eye on that fucking Hawkeye. You have to mark him. The ping system itself in Marvel Rivals is something that really needs to be fine tuned. But you see a Hawkeye, you do not let the Hawkeye see you. Same general thing with Black Widow, but that's kind of self-explanatory because sniper. But Black Widow, you still have the same general. If she sees you, don't like just don't be there. But less so because of that not one shot. But that not one shot is also part of the team synergy. She's not meant to one shot. She's meant to make you cry a little bit, and then the Hulk in your face can now just sneeze at you. It's that general. I can't kill you, but he can. That's how it works. And I say Hulk, technically it could be an Iron Fist, it could be a Iron Man, it could be I'm waiting for the next Iron something, but all of the different characters, even a support can just smack you across the ass and you're just dead. And that's what Black Widow brings to the table. Same with how different characters work, and I'm getting into that. Then. Um, each and something kind of cool. is both of these weapons actually synergize with the overall set because of how Transcendence works. I'm actually going to be going in between both of them, and the reason why I have two autos is because I'm most comfortable with autos. It is the ability to make sure I can have that stream of damage. The primary, two primaries makes it where I can always have the damage, always have that ready to go, and both of them being in the two ends of the auto rifle ranges, where this is longer range, this is closer range, and still in the same general ballpark with dynamic extreme reduction, even headstone. All of that does matter for how it functions. Like headstone gives me an extra wall, like the barricade here, which is this is why I have thruster and why it actually is pretty good for so many different reasons. Thruster allows me to do that, and also that at the same time, so I can like thrust backwards on certain platforms or certain areas, walk up and have that stasis crystal for extra cover, get behind it, get behind the other one because it actually spawns two. Could actually use that to distort people because I can send into them. They could think it's like one of those warlock stasis grenades. Typically, warlock can be used on titan stasis, but besides the point. Which is why I have thruster because it allows me to do all those different things with good synergy, good focus, good everything what I want to do because I like versatility, which is why the ranges are covered, different things like that with good get in, get out, on top of the ability to have shiver strike, on top of this actually, because the reason why I have Black Talon above any other sword, above any other exotic, above anything else is because maximum nerd here, and this is something that is not stated anywhere in this weapon. What you see here, it looks like, I kid you not, a very basic, has nothing special about it, and looks like it, I do want to clarify this, looks like it, caster frame. But the coolest thing that is not stated about the caster frame sword is that you can actually shoot one first. Okay, first, the caster frame, I believe, does less damage on instant, but actually has a continuous damage effect, I believe. So like with the orb one, we're doing more damage or doing consistent damage gives you an orb. That would technically be better, not what the Black Talon does. But the Black Talon, because it's an exotic, does something completely different. Which what it does is it allows you to swing the sword for a heavy attack with maximum charge, less charge is actually applicable in PvE or PvP specifically, because you're able to do enough damage to one shot with that projectile, be it in the air or be it on the ground, and it tracks, but it's also a one hit, they're dead. That alone, that one hit, they're dead guaranteed. I believe even supers, but I don't really go for heavy ammo, so I don't actually know. But all of that on top of the ability to be a sword. Because if you didn't know, with the sword in PvP, PvE, or anything like that, you're able to go in a third person view. And if you have ammo and say competitive, you're able to pull it out and have that third person view to look around corners and see where enemies are. If they don't have ammo, they don't get to do that. And there's only one heavy ammo brick that spawns. Is basically like a, hey, come get me, win the match kind of thing. Or not win the match, win the round, win this engagement. If you get this, you're doing pretty good kind of thing. Um, Turn the tides, that general thing, like the gravity hammer in Halo, energy sword. Halo has a lot of those. I think there's a couple others, like the spike launcher. That's just that's just mean. One of my personal favorite sci-fi weapons is not even that scientific, or it is scientific. It just doesn't sound it. The Thor rods. I know it has a different like a higher kinetic energy weapon. Q is another term I heard for it, where it's literally a highly accurate, measurementally precise, just meteor that is man-made, that is just a rod with wings on it that has maybe propulsion downwards. It doesn't really need it. It's just dropped from high enough orbit with good enough accuracy to basically just finger poke you out of existence. And I mean like Azura's Wrath, I forget his name. Whenever the big Buddha looking dude just pokes the planet, that is basically what happens if the poke was the same what it would have been, but in the size of Azura's overall maximum angry width. Like that general size. So a building is just thump out of existence. You actually get to see one of those in action in Call of Duty Ghosts. There's a cutscene in there somewhere, which is pretty cool. And the sound effect is basically thump because that's what's happening. It's going into the ground hard. um And I really like onomatopoeia. It's one of my personal favorite things because it gives good oomph to things without saying cuss words like fuck. And I say fuck typically for spice and oomph. And like for when I mess up with words, I flub up. That's a better way to say it because fuck is not needed there. Fuck is a bad spice overall, but it's the only spice I got. So I put that shit on everything. Um, Next you're going. Okay, since I showed off all of this, and all of this is also handy because of how it's fine-tuned, like the specific reload speeds for all these, how I can actually get faster movement speed with this mod here, or faster swap speed to or handle. Okay, if you don't know, because this is okay. So many different things I want to talk about this maximum nerd, and I'm wanting to use the time. I can only make a video in 60 minutes, and I'm recording this all and making this all on PS5, so it's a lot harder to do if I can ever or whenever I do get the cord to connect my PS5, because I'll only ever play games on my PS5. I would like to have the cord to connect my PC to my PS5 so I can record the game, edit it on my PC, because then I'll not have the restrictions on the editing software on PS5. Hell yeah, I said that properly. No flub ups. Okay. All of these matter so much for Destiny 2. All of these matter. Each stat matters in so many different ways, which is why, and sometimes you actually want a different stat thing because of what you're wanting to engage in, because of your different weapons and how you're wanting to generally work, even with the same weapon in different roles. Which is why God rolls don't exist, especially when it comes to barrels and magazines. When you go after a specific barrel magazine, please hear me out on this. People will call me an idiot, people call me a Titan brain, and all sorts of different things, but please hear me out here. Each one of these, and sometimes you have a barrel magazine that just doesn't fucking work for you. It is absolutely shit. But that same barrel magazine could be what somebody else is looking for. Just to clarify this. And secondly, that is why I always call them personality traits, because that's all these are. These are just personality traits. These are like, how do not the makeup or the earrings, but that is the best thing that comes to mind. It is like this is not common at all, but like the cosmetic surgery pieces, if they have them. Like this is the cosmetic surgery pieces. Hell, that actually works. Because these perks or these traits can be on any weapon, basically, even exotics, technically, and can be used pretty effectively on any weapon. The only thing that separates purples, blues, and grays is the ability to have more or less mods, which is why purples are always in lead where no one ever uses blues or grays because of that. And I'm saying this bit because this is the major reason why I have my YouTube videos. My entire channel is so people can get to know me and how I think, how I do things, because I want to get into game making. I want to be a game developer. My first game is going to be completely fixing all of these things. And I am not going to say this in any other video, but because I'm going maximum nerd, I am going to say this. Bungie, I don't know if you're listening. I genuinely don't think you are, but thank you. Not your latest twit, but the twit before the latest twit. That one where there was one beautiful paragraph that I kid you not made me stand up and dance. And not just, I couldn't stop walking. I walked inside because I was sitting on my back porch and just fucking cheering. Because what you're doing is what I have said I am going to do. My major landmark, my major achievement that I'm going to work for. And you guys are the reason why I want to get into this, which is why I'm saying this. Like, how Bungie works, how Destiny works. For an example, and I'm going to get into what I was talking about specifically, but the reason why Bungie got me to make games, right? They're making me want to make games. It's because of things like airborne effectiveness. Airborne effectiveness released, not going to lie, pretty shit, but I saw the potential. I saw where it was going because that it was a needed change. It allows things like primary weapons to kind of get shots. I do think it needs a little bit more tuning. It I do like not being able to guarantee my shots as crits. I do want to clarify this. But with like either one of these, unless they're not shooting at me, I might hit a couple shots. But if they're shooting at me, it ain't likely unless I am way too close for like a shotgun or fusion rifle. If I'm playing properly, yeah, none of these are gonna work in air consistently. But if I could like hit instead of airborne effectiveness, okay, I don't know if this is something that Bungie can do, but I don't like ending off a bad thing on just nothing. I like having a good conversation, not a bad conversation, because just negativity does not help anything. Having a good workaround and a good adjustment to that, where it's like, hey, this is constructive criticism. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Constructive criticism is the best thing for everyone involved. So instead of airborne effectiveness, and this would work for what they're doing for special weapons, because this was a problem with special weapons, you were able to, as Hunter, and Hunter still has the easiest up button. They have the ability to just fucking bounce twice or one hefty bounce, either in a direction or vertically, that allows them to just fly. Sure, nothing extra after that, but say for an example, you have a good open upward in PvP. You're able to, say, another hunter, because of how view works, everything's like that. Another hunter runs up. You bounce, and you're just above them. They don't realize it because they're just trying to groove, just trying to have fun. And then you're just shotgun blasting them in the face. You are able to guarantee that kill on that hunter. And just picture your own area however you want to picture. Just one hunter runs around a corner with this hunter with a shotgun. Hunter with a shotgun jumps when hunter runs around the corner, gets close. Bang. Olden times, it was bang, they're dead. Modern times, it's not that simple. They have to jump, wait a little bit to let them line up enough to guarantee it. And that timing allows them to register, wait, there's some puffs of smoke. Look up a little bit, oh shit, pull out their weapon, or what I typically do, which is why I like two primary weapons, I back up. I don't take engagements I don't feel comfortable in. Okay, my comfortable and everyone else's comfortable is not the same thing. I'm okay with dying. My goal is actually to die. Kid you not, my goal in every single game, even in Marvel Rivals, it is to die. But after taking everyone I possibly can with me, just clarify, it is to die. I am in their shit. If I die, I'm okay with it. If I get some healing, hell yeah, I would love to get some healing. I hate it when I don't. But healing is helpful in any game ever. But healing in this game, you can stand back or get some healing from another ally, just to clarify. But in Marvel Rivals, you only had to get support healing, and that's why I just want to clarify that when you don't have healing, why you need two supports. Need it, bare minimum, two supports, and I will cover how combos, if supports do matter, but not in varying degrees where there is just a bad support combo. Even a support combo like Jeff's low amount of healing per beam with Mantis's low amount of healing. I'm just talking about the healing, but because of what they both can do and how Jeff can actually boost his healing and her healing at the same time, and they can bonus on one person, or Jeff alone can just full heal a tank basically instantaneously if you're pulling your cards right and using your cards right. There's some workarounds to allow both combo or those two to just wipe fields, especially if the Jeff is good with projectiles and able to DPS and heal, then work in the back line and just overall do some good shit. With the Mantis doing the same thing, they can just protect each other, completely heal each other, give each other speed, or give her a speed boost. Oh fuck, Jeff Bubble plus her speed boost. There's a lot of combinations there. I'm gonna play with that. I actually can't. I wish I could. I don't have friends to play with. If I did, I would have so much fun. But all of these matter in so many different varying degrees. I'm actually going to go into a picture or a screenshot of the menu for how this overall gun, not gun, I don't know why I said gun, the overall controller, because there is actually a new button. And fuck it, okay. I'm going to talk about the DualSense Edge wireless controller. This controller, like I was talking about in the beginning, has so many cool things about how this controller works. The controller has paddle plugs, which I'm actually using right now. The paddle plugs, and I say plugs because it's magnetic plugs basically that you can easily put in and put out, which comes with two in the pack I have, one for more casual gaming, one for more competitive gaming, which is very, very handy, and also multiple joysticks. The ones that are on it at base are just better, in my personal opinion. It's of personal preference. It technically can actually use both, one for more casual gaming and the others for more competitive because it doesn't actually press into you. The old style PlayStation controllers where it had the bubble, best way to put it, like the curve up, where it could actually dig into your thumb, that is the extra joysticks, but you can also just have extra joysticks. Or the sticks on the joystick because you can actually just pull that up. And a lot of this is just pull it and move it and manipulate it. That's all you have to do. And it's just absolutely incredible how this functions. But an extra button that I was not expecting at all. First, I'm gonna actually use that as a segue, so I'm not gonna talk about that. But first thing is the only weird lever that actually got me worried is something that I will never actually use because I don't trust it not to break on me because I have ham hands. But um, there is a I don't know what to call it, but here's the ASMR that was going all the way up, all the way down. You heard three clicks because there's three, and hopefully you heard three clicks. There is three tiers to it, and that is the trigger depth. Maximum height is most depth, or you pull it all the way down to the base of the controller, and then there is the least, or middle and then least, that is basically no distance, basically giving you a feather trigger, which is pretty cool, but I am a ham hand person, so I don't want to accidentally just crunch and now the controller doesn't work. I just don't want to deal with that, so I never will turn that on. But it is a thing that people can use if they want to. But this is something everyone should use. And I did not understand why. I did not think it was a bad idea, but I did not understand why this button existed. This button exists for such a beautiful reason. First, this button, like the paddles, are ambidextrous. There's two paddles. Both paddles are anything you want them to be, and you'll see more in that in the clip, the picture that you're going to see with me recording in the recording booth, relatively speaking. But there is another bit that is below the joysticks. It's like a little bit off the joysticks coming down towards your chest if you're holding the controller. I believe you'll be able to see the picture in the picture for the game or for the controller itself. Um, the bit itself, when you press it down, and you're not going to see this, I don't think I can actually take a picture of this except for on my phone, so I'm not even going to bother doing that. But when you press it down, either of them, because there is two of them, and you can only press down one or the other, and you do actually want to press down one or the other depending on what you're doing. If you press down either or, you get the same menu though, so you can technically like do one-handed stuff if you want to, but there's a reason to use one hand or the other. First, when you have it pressed, you have a menu. That menu gives you a button input for both your D-pad and your face buttons, the shape buttons, triangle, circle, X, square. All of those give you a different thing. Like for an example, up and down on D-pad, adjust your headphone volume. Left and right, adjust game and chat bands. That's cool for like PlayStation parties or Discord calls. That's very, very handy. Um, where the button inputs, triangle, circle, X, square, allow you to basically tactically change your buttons. And I mean tactically change because, like for an example, of Rivals that I'm going to get into, allows me to have specific fields. Like for an example, there is default. Default is the base. You cannot actually change that, and that just turns off the paddles. Dual is one you can have whatever you want, or what I have as dual is circle. Triangle is default, and then there's X and square. I'm going to get into each one specific, or I'm going to cover them now because I do want to cover why I have my buttons on Destiny, how they are, and then I'm going to let you see the gameplay because that's like a good stopping point for you if you're doing it, go do something, take a break, and also just gives you something cool in the background to see. But I will be like, I did not foolproof this button setup. I did not have a good way to get Transcendence, and I do die because I'm trying to get a good button for Transcendence. I did remember what the super was for Marvel Rivals, so I just used the same button because the super for Destiny is both top triggers, so it allows me to just have fun and just do my thing. Um, but my button inputs are actually, or my names for them, and they do make sense. I'll go into more detail, and it's like a good thing on it. The first one you can actually change, but that is triangle with default profile. It's basically just think off for the paddles. Dual is anything. I have maximum whatever I want to do because all that does is change the paddles to or all around purpose. X is bolt. It is maximum movement, maximum control for overall just floaty business. Like Rocket Raccoon, Jeff, I'm gonna want to try and make it work for floaty Warlock, like Icarus Dash, things I like doing. I don't like doing Shatterscape or anything like that. I don't like it because I die enough by jank. I don't want to force jank upon the game. And I have gotten 3 hits by a boss And I don't mean like bang, bang, bang. I mean, I was up close, knew how much damage a melee can do, so I knew I could get back, so I didn't die, even with a big stomp melee. But I was up close enough to get the punch in the face melee. This boss just fucking donkey punched me and punched me 3 times, and then I collapsed on the ground and became ball. And that just happens too repetitively, so I get kind of like, come on, man. But it's not actually annoying to me because I am a glitch magnet, which is part of the reason why I really love playing games. And I forgot to talk about the thing. Destiny 2, Bungie is making aim assist not a problem. And aim assist is an assister. PC is just better. PC is just better overall for overall, like, even the games look better. To an extent, here and there, PS5 is actually basically just PC. But the PC, you have better control. You have better ease of use for every single button. But I do not personally like the finger twister. I just don't. I don't like finger twister. It is not my personal preferred way to play, which is why this controller is perfect for me. I love even the fact that there's texturing on the controller that is weird, but is not there on any other controller, and it's right below the paddles. So I'm able to reliably change my grip without having to worry that much, which just shows how beautiful the minds of PlayStation are, which is why I just absolutely love PlayStation. And I am not a fuckboy for any brand. If anyone texts that in my comment section, it is instantly deleted. I will say when something is bad. If this controller, like, for an example, if I cannot easily swap or swapping it is like redundant where hair can still get in the gears or whatever the fuck, if it is just a bad system to tactically swap the controller sticks, I will make an update to this video or make another video covering that. But as it stands, and I do want to clarify this because it sounds like a fuckboy and people comment weird shit and just absolutely do some stupid shit online, not think or ask questions beforehand. I am me. I will never be somebody else besides me, which is my videos are for people to get to know me, because I am me. Why would I try to be anyone else besides me? I just really like PlayStation above any other competitor or anything else, even PC gaming, because of multiple reasons. But I can get into that, and I have gotten to that in videos. I don't want to get into that now. I really want to cover what Bungie did that is fucking gorgeous. I always described it as more Titan simple brain. I don't mean that as a bad thing, just a simple way to put it. So maximum just I want to punch. I do not like the sentence crayon eater. I personally find that as maximum offensive when it comes to just you can't even exist properly. You're eating crayons. That's not how that works. Which is why I've always taken maximum offense to it. No Titan is a crayon eater. Even the ones that just maximum punch. They and like go in for the punch to do damage. If they can only do that, that's not a bad thing. But they're not a crayon eater. That is just wrong. That is just bad. That never helps anyone. And I know that it is a military term, but it never helps anyone. And military term because I believe the Marines are called crayon eaters. But the funny thing about that, the reason why I actually hate that even from that viewpoint, is because the Marines were made because the Navy are a bunch of fucking sissies. They could not defend themselves from pirates. I don't know why. It sounds like they were sissies. It could be because of lack of manpower or something or another. It could be something very specific and niche for the time period. I don't know. But they could not defend themselves. So they whined and complained, and I'm saying this is maximum humor. Don't know exactly how this functions, just to clarify. Maximum humor. They whined and complained to the people in charge and said, we need help. Pirates are fucking our shit up, taking our shit, killing us. What do we do? We can't fight them. And the people asked, what are they using? Rowboats. Are you fucking kidding me? No. Help. And I don't think it was rowboats, but basically rowboats. Because all he did, I think it most definitely was a time period, but wrote basically a line of this is what's going to happen. And he made an offshoot of the foot soldiers for American troops. I forget exactly what they're called, but made an offshoot that are aquatic, basically a platypus with a gun, and put it on the ships and said, there you go, and pat the person on the head and walked away. That's all they had to do. And from that point on, the Marines were made, and I believe I have the branch correct. But that That's all that happened. And then ta-da, we have the people that sacrificed so much in Normandy, did so many crazy things, and are my personal favorite branch because they basically embody the Blitzkrieg. I have heard that they have drills that they have to get in the safety zone, maximum nerd still, because I am a gun nut, I'm a weapon nut, because even bows I love. Just so many different things that are so cool. And I do want to talk about this. I'm talking about this because everything has a good thing to an extent, but I do want to say this and then get more into the aim assist thing because that is just fucking gorgeous. The thump, and if I had somebody talk through these videos, it would be so much better. I do want to clarify this, and I'm sorry. I do realize when I catch myself, like I just did, if I had somebody talk through these videos, it would be so much better because I would wait for them to respond because I'm bad at talking by myself because I don't know what I said because I have to keep it on my mind and I say so much. So, um, the danger close drills for mortars, rockets, and different things like that because they need to be up close and personal enough. So, say for an example, there's a tank. Kill the tank, we got over. So they have to get close enough, get in a good position, thump, yeah, boom, and then soldiers jump over, run, kind of thing. What I love is my personal favorite military tactic is blitzkrieg. That is per what we got in not military, but or in the military alone. Not what we have technically, because what we could technically do is fucking insane. I mean, we collectively as a human species can do some fucking insane shit if we apply everything we understand. In anything, actually, even technically our stuff with vehicles and shit, like everything. I believe there's going to be a new renaissance. Like how the Renaissance brought Michelangelo and all sorts of shit. I love that. Kronk. Kronk as in I like old Disney, modern Disney is just a gutter. Ever since Rey existed in Star Wars, it just got shit. But because of who Rey is, she's a Mary Sue of Mary Sue. She is not Star Wars in any shape or form, and I can just slap you nerdily. I'm not going to delete your comment. If you do comment something like that, I do want to tell you why. But you are not correct. If you say Rey is a good character, just you were not. I am sorry. She's not a good Star Wars character. Leave it at that. It's like how she's a good Disney character. It's like how Infamous Second Son is not a good Infamous game, but it is a good game overall because it's more Marvel than Infamous. That's it. That's the only complaint I have. It is a good game by itself, though. It is pretty fun, pretty enjoyable. I even have a playlist going from good to bad, if you do want to play. Or doing a good playthrough, then doing a bad playthrough, but in the same playthrough. So technically, good to bad. Just to clarify. Which is why I'm saying you can still enjoy it. It's just not a good Star Wars movie. And since that point on, they have been doing shit like casting Snow White not to be white. And I just want people to think about that. Snow White, the person that has that name, because they sparkle in the moonlight. Not because they're a vampire, weird reasoning from Twilight, genuinely weird. Just that's the only one that came to mind because they're hunting. Oh yeah, Renaissance. The future is coming. There's so many different things that are coming along, and I do want to get to this because it's actually pretty cool. And then I'm going to talk about aim assist. Sorry about this. I do want to make sure I'm not going into 37. You know what? Maximum Nerd is going to be just a series because I do want to do this. Um, so I'm going to make two episodes off of this. I'm going to make this episode, which is maximum wordage with Destiny, and then I'm going to do maximum wordage with Marvel Rivals. You can watch either or. I'm not going to try and reference either or, and I'm just going to talk as if they're standalone. So you can watch either or. But do keep in mind these videos are so long because you can pause them. Hopefully there's enough breaks in my word salad, and hopefully the word salad is digestible for you. Because that's the biggest thing. If it's not digestible, I am sorry because I am trying to give you information. And I said it because my mouth is not a dude, it is an it because it is an object on my face. If that makes any sense. It is me, it is part of me, but it is not me. I am everything else. Like your finger does not have a gender, it is your finger. It is an it. Just to clarify. Um I did want to talk about something. I'm gonna go back into the aim assist because that's what I remember. The aim assist, I always described it as a buff. The buff where it is on target, it is on one target. It lasts like you can get it for, and I did actually reference Destiny when I do talk about this because I thought about it for the Manticore, which is why I was talking about it as a buff. Where how the Manticore, and the Manticore is a very fun exotic. That exotic is very, very, very handy in a lot of different ways if you want to use it, even in PvP, technically. Because if they're not expecting it, you get guaranteed everything this does, which this does a lot. They Void Overshoot, for an example, in PvE is damage reduction. I think it's like a 20% 50 maybe, but I believe it's a 20% damage reduction on top of extra health, on top of things can't shoot you as well. So PvE is just where this shines. But technically, you can use this in PvE or PvP to have maximum control and just everything. Um, and I talk about this because, and sorry about that. I really need something to drink. I don't have anything to drink in here. Sorry about that. That was not pleasant for me. Um, I muted there because it again stuck to the mouth, and by it I mean my tongue. I need something to drink. Um, I'm gonna say this last little bit, and then actually gonna go wash my jug. I have not orange. I believe it was an apple juice, not 2 liter. An apple juice thing, and I can't just look at it because I cleaned it all off and made it just see through because I got off the label. I really like doing that, especially if I'm gonna reuse it. But I washed that out and I'm using it for like the big things of Kool-Aid and stuff because I'm a big person. I drink a lot, so it's just handy for me to have that and have it throughout the day and clean it, wash it again, get another one. They just have it per the day, so I don't have to get up and go down because I get up and go down for the dog food and dog water. I get up and go down to make sure everything's okay. I'm just the person that does a whole lot around the house. Like I clean the cat litter. I help dad whenever it's needed. I try my best to help my siblings. I do my best to help my mom. I just try my best to help everyone, so I have to be there to help them because they don't ask me or ask anyone for help because they're them. A lot of personal things, which is why I don't want to go down. And I do drink a lot because literally I drink it. I can get a lot of drink out of this, which is why I don't drink a whole lot, which is why I didn't think to do this before now after 30 minutes of recording. Or 37 as of last thing. 40 now, because I can easily just press the button to see. Um, so that's why I can like drink a third of this container in one I need to drink, set it down. Keep in mind I'm numb. I have a lot of mental not problems, not mess ups, things that make me me, which is why I am always me. I have learned, for an example, this is weird, doesn't make sense. Even to me, it makes me smile because this is maximum me. I have an astigmatism. I believe in my right eye. I remember people saying right eye. Might be my left. I don't know. This astigmatism gives me 20/20 vision. If my eye did not grow with the astigmatism, if it was just its eye, if it was just the eye, it would not have that. It would not be 20/20 vision. Everyone else in my family even doesn't have 20/20 vision. I'm the only one that has 20/20 vision. And I did answer the things correctly. I did everything correctly, just to clarify. And I'm going to go to that doctor. So if it is changed, I will update this, relatively speaking. But yeah, I have 20/20 vision because of an astigmatism, a mutation in my eye to give me 20/20 vision. And that's just maximum me. Like, it's just awesome, which is why I am me, why I talk like me, why I am me, and I'll never be somebody else. Simple as that, and everything about me has just kind of pointed me to that direction, so I don't really care. If you don't like my words, please do have a conversation. If you have anything you want to talk about, please comment. And I'm not asking you to comment. Keep this in mind. If you have anything to comment, like any questions, any suggestions, like please play this game. Please understand if you do have a game that you want me to play, that has to be on PS5 and it has to be free. If it has those two requirements, I'll play it. Unless it's like the I did want to play this because it just looks like a fun game, and I am gonna go back to Aimsys after this. I'm sorry. Like Niki's. It's a costume game with an anime QC style that I do like the concept of because each costume gives you or outfit dress thing gives you different powers to allow you to have like a Legend of Zelda with just parkour and movement. It looks pretty fun and enjoyable. My first playthrough ever was on Solar Ash. The main character is a genuinely pretty gorgeous female. And like cosmically gorgeous because it's flowing like Taken look. You basically just play as a Taken with skates. Actually, now that I think about it, like it's genuinely fun. But going back into this, and then I'm gonna do the recording of. I can't actually show off the gameplay. Next video is gonna be maximum gameplay. That's how I'm gonna do it. This one is maximum voice. The next one is maximum gameplay. Something like that. I'm gonna word something like that. How this works is it used to work, which is why I ended off that. It used to work with when you are in the air, be it walking down the stairs, because no stairs are perfect in any game ever. Stairs are one of the hardest things to actually program, which is why, and knowing that, is why I am actually not going to worry about stairs. I'm not going to try and actually make stairs. I'm always going to just have slopes. Always, because those just sound the best and allow, I believe, that is why trimping is a thing. And trimping sounds painful. It sounds like tripping, but it's not. It's trimping, I believe is how you say it. TF2 is a game I really, really want to play. And Team Fortress 2, not Titanfall 2. I actually call both of them TF2. It's just per sentence, per understanding of what I'm trying to say. Like when I say Titan TF2, that is Titanfall TF2. If I say like Soldier from TF2, that soldier from Team Fortress 2, just to clarify. Um, but soldier or yeah, soldier can do it. It's not the okay. Any amount of speed or speed boosts in general, things that give you more speed than typical, allow you to do things like trimping. There's a lot of different geometry drawing, different things like that, but trimping is the most common and most useful for things like market gardens and different things like that. But with Demo Man, there we go. Demo Man, you're able to burst forward and launch off of, I believe, just slopes. You're able to use that slope to fly up and around, gaining weird angles on movement to allow you to get to places you won't typically be able to get to. And because my game is a movement shooter that I'm wanting to. Okay, I am going to make two default controller setups. One for paddles, or if it's like I'm going to work around the DualSense Edge because this is the DualSense Edge controller because this is just gorgeous and this is the future of gaming. So I work it with where do you want your paddles to be set up, where do you want all these buttons to be for DualSense Edge, and then basic controller setup for basic controller setups. And then I'll have like more fine-tuned in this, and this is also with how Destiny functions. I'm getting to the button setup, which is why this makes some words because this does all matter. This is why I'm knowing, or I know that I needed to fix aim assist because I'm wanting maximum movement in this overall complex movement shooter. Because I'm wanting to have a lot of fun with RRP, and that is going to be my first game that I'm going to make, and it's going to sell like hotcakes. And I don't even know how much I'm going to want to the for. I know that I'm going to want to bundle it with my Patreon whenever I do make that, but I need a demo at the very least for Patreon. I do want to have a trailer, which the trailer when I do have one, which I do think the community is going to enjoy. And if you're watching now, I hope you enjoy the community whenever it does actually happen. But if it does happen too, um, in this trailer, it is actually going to be gameplay accurate. It is not going to be in game, but it is going to be gameplay accurate. Keywordage because it's going to look fucking phenomenal. Better than the cutscenes because I do want the cutscenes to be in game to make it more streamlined and better looking because it's still rendered by your console. So if your console doesn't render as well, it will render in your console's view. So like the cutscene doesn't just like make it lackluster, out of focus. Like I don't know what to call it. Like the cutscene will take you away from the game, but it will still be in the game. If that makes any sense. Where it's still your experience, which is why I really do like games that can work on anything. Which is why I really like Destiny 2. Another reason why I love Destiny 2. It can work on just about anything, and it's massive, which is even more impressive. But this gun, because of what I was talking about with the tripping, how there's slopes and then people try and cut it out. When Destiny 2 has a lot of cut out stairs, you can actually feel it while walking down. It's actually pretty cool. But because of other different things drop down, different things like that. Like uh, Destiny 2 is a very fun feeling out game, which is why I really love Destiny 2 as well. It feels like a world. It feels like a paracausal world, and that is what I love about it. Not terrible. What's it called? Telesto is the besto. There we go. Telesto has broken this game in so many different ways alone. It is like the coconut that if you delete it in Team Fortress 2, it is the game itself does not work. And I kid you not, it is a PNG of a coconut. Just a fucking coconut. Just in the deepest files that is it that I believe is referenced to all sorts of different things. So if you delete this one thing, everything breaks, which is fucking hilarious. That it's all propped up, like the visual like this is all propped up on a single coconut. Everything in that game has one coconut way at the bottom of this like inverted pyramid. That if you just kick the coconut and make it not there, everything comes crumbling down. And that's just fucking funny to think about. Um, but this game feels like a Paracol's game. Now, going back to the controller and fuck, one last thing about. Okay, gonna say this last bit because of how that worked, of how that walking down and then it would instantly trigger because it didn't have a timer. Now it has a 0.5 second timer to allow it to work. Now, that is literally all I wanted to say because that's what made me think about a debuff because that's the best way to visualize it because it's on one target, not going to the next target, but also it's like on that 0.5 or less than to allow it to work, but it will not trigger on another enemy for around that. So if they're running past you, it doesn't pull your view, but it will stay on that target even if they're behind walls and shit, but you will not be able to lock onto them, where it's a very fine-tuned debuff, but a debuff itself. And that's why I genuinely really like how that is worded. Why I wanted to say that again. Now, hopefully I have enough time. I do that as 10 minutes ish. Cool. Um, Next, I'm going to take a screenshot of the menu for the DualSense Wireless Edge. It literally adds a new menu for your console. It's in the console, which is why I can't record it because it's like a settings menu. It is genuinely gorgeous, so I'm gonna take a screenshot. I think I can. If I can't, shit, I'm gonna try and figure out something else and then record that. So I hope you all enjoyed up to this part, and I am also gonna go get something to drink before recording, so my voice does not sound as bad as it does if it does sound bad, and so my mouth does not feel bad because it actually feels pretty bad. Um, and not like breaking out, just it is dry enough for me to feel it. Just to clarify, because I did say I was numb, I am not completely numb. I have enough feeling to make it where, oh, I feel that. Why do I feel that? Is that bad? No, that's just weird clump of like dirt. Like right now, I feel the weird clump of dirt on my foot. It feels like it's pushing in because it is because it's pushing in on my skin. Just to clarify, like I'm a weird numb. Like my muscles are numb, but not my skin. Weird way to put that, and I think that's like the best descriptor. That just sounds uncomfortable, but it's not. Um, gonna that is actually that is exactly what it feels like. That is, hmm, I'm sorry. I don't think of these words until I say them sometimes, and sometimes the words are just perfect, like exactly how it works. And I have tried to describe my feeling to people, and that's the first time I've ever been able to describe it perfectly. My muscles are numb. That's why I have that. I can work. I can work. Oh, fuck, I can't work. Because my muscles are numb. Not my skin. That's why temperature. Well, um, sorry. Brain blast from like Jimmy Neutron. Just maximum click. Um, with all that said, I'm going to go to a screenshot. I hope everything was worded properly. And to be honest, I hope what I just said made you smile and laugh. Made you laugh that a 22 plus. I'm always going to say 22 plus because I don't like saying my actual age because that does not need it. I'm 22. I can drink, smoke. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. That does not matter from that point on. Do what you want to do with that information. Just, I am 22 plus. Um, Now, with that, I'm going to show you the menu right now. Here is the menu, but I did not actually show off why this is about the controller completely and utterly. The controller is what you're seeing now. You even see the extra buttons on below the joysticks. That is also the first button in that combination. It is that, then that extra button, but I am going to quickly scroll through my Destiny 2 buttons. So you can see that, and I'm also going to cover this in Marvel Rivals video, but that is going to be maximum gameplay. So it's going to be covering the game primarily, even more than this one. But that this one was covering maximum overall nerd. This is maximum Marvel Rivals nerd. It's going to be the next one, not this one. But you get the point. Um, So here you go. This bit here is actually all covering, and that's weird controller drift already, but I think that's because I'm just so rough on it. I can easily turn up the stick dead zone, and that is something you're meant to fuck up a little bit here and there, because I think it's literally just, I'm not even doing, yeah, that is pixel perfect. I do kind of need to turn that up. That's something I'm going to do before making the next clip. But everything here, and I mean like pixel perfect, I'm not really moving that. And I am a ham hand person, like I said previously. So, yeah, and I'm actually moving it up here. That's not drift. So, just seeing that precision, that is no dead zone. So, actually, it might not even technically be drift because right now there is no drift. That's weird. Um, all of these buttons are based off of being able to instantly press all these buttons. The reason, or instantly press all these abilities really do matter, and it's pretty self-explanatory how these things work. The reason why I'm actually using hold to sprint instead of toggle is because that click is also a paddle, which is why I'm using brick. I believe it's brick. Yes, brick. And it's called brick because what you can actually use a brick for. You can use it for a weapon, you can use it for a wall, you can use it as an offense, defensive, and actually survival too, because you can make a pretty good fireplace out of it too. Way to cook things off of it as well. Like bricks are very, very useful. And what classifies as a brick as well is what I'm playing with, because a brick is all sorts of different things. Um, Now, that is why I have brick. You're also going to see the green dot on brick, and I am going to be covering brick the most because that is on tanks and overall Titan or a main Titan, which is why I had that in my background, which is why I said Titan. But uh, this is also good on every other class, but the reason why I have things like Bolt and Bolt as in like bolt around, even Spider-Man and I am going to talk about Spider-Man as well in the next video, but Spider-Man himself bolts up if you use him properly because of the overall movement and just team coordination that you can do because he himself is not necessarily meant to kill, but if you have like anyone that can get a good duck hunt, that uppercut can do some pretty good shit. I say duck hunt like disturb him, make him fly, bang, as in the game duck hunt because that's what the dog does in actual real life. That's what the dog does. It's an actual thing. It's pretty cool. With all that said, I'm going to get into more detail, but hopefully I don't have to edit severely the main bit of the video. Hopefully I have enough time. I should have enough time to do this, but don't know. This is Brick's button layout. The first picture you saw there was actually not on the bit it's showing because it doesn't actually show the highlighted area that I have. But that is Brick's buttons, and that is why I have Brick's set up or my Guardian set up as that. But that's also for tanks and mob rivals, like I said, and all sorts of other things. Also, the reason why you heard the noise in the bit or the last bit is because I actually made like a Rig standing desk, so that was my jacket rubbing against my wooden chair. I jury rigged because it's bricks and boxes. Good boxes, like shoe boxes. Or not shoe boxes, headset boxes that are actually pretty good designed. I'm am paying attention to it. I don't think I need to swap that out yet because there's that inner liner. Um, I don't even think that's really, yeah, that's not really out that much comparatively to brand new. I'm just not paying attention to it a little more. All these buttons do matter, and I will actually show the next bit as what you can actually do with everything here because every single input you see here, even the fucking touchpad can be altered and can be a different button. Like this shit is insane. Every single button there you see that can be altered, can be changed, can be tweaked. There's some other settings for some buttons. Like you can turn off, change, and manipulate the touchpads, the joysticks. There's some cool customization with this and so much more that I will go into at some point. I just don't think it's all really necessary to fiddle with right now. I just, like you see now, turned up the dead zone, and it actually, okay, chronologically from editing it, I actually took those pictures while editing, which is pretty interesting, but I changed that dead zone before taking the pictures. I just took the last two pictures, not the one that I was recording with, like, tying me, why me editing stuff. I hope everything that I just said was really good and made a lot of sense, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video overall. If you need to ask any questions, please ask them. Just please ask a question if you do have a gripe. I think is a good way to put that. Have a good rest of y'all's day, and I will, or you will, catch me in the next one, technically. I'm actually going to be recording that after this is uploaded.